Alrighty, so from John Leguizamo criticizing the new Super Mario Brothers animated movie that is currently killing it at the box office right now, claiming that the characters or the cast were just too white and that they should have casted a Latin person to at least voice one of the characters, which is actually false on both accounts because the characters were very diverse and they did cast at least one Latin person to voice one of the characters on that movie, to Grace Randolph making false claims about the themes of the movie, claiming that the general theme was based on the premises of two men fighting over one woman, which is actually false because anybody who has seen the movie would know that Princess Peaches was not Mario's motivation to do everything that he did in that movie, not in the least bit. Two people, Twitterati or blue check marks, actually going after Chris Pratt on Twitter, claiming that he's not right for the job because he's not Italian. In any case, it is totally clear to all that there is a serious concerted effort to actually discredit this movie from blowing it out of the parks at the box office, but it is actually blowing it out of the parks at the box office, and it is actually destroying every single narrative out there. And it is clear that the people that are having this concerted effort are actually pissed because this movie refuses to bend a knee to their agenda. Now, one of the outlets that has been pushing out one or two articles regarding the Super Mario Brothers to discredit it happens to be CBR, to which one of you guys pointed out this article to me, claiming that Super Mario Brothers isn't Italian, he is Japanese, which is really funny to me because what they're trying to say in this article is that if he's Japanese, then this is another reason why Chris Pratt should not be voicing it. It should actually go to a Japanese person voicing it. Funny that. So why is it that these people are actually saying this? Where did they get this information from? Well, we're going to be getting into it. I'll share my opinion and share my findings regarding these particular articles with you guys. Please feel free to share your own opinion in that comment section below. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So basically, this article is based on an interview of Mr. Masayuki Uemura, the person that created the console that heralded all of these popular games that we know from the 80s and the 90s. The very first video game that I happen to have played was Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, and the likes of them, and Mario Brothers included in that family comp. So the person that created the console is what they are basing this particular interview on. So about a year or 2 years ago or thereabout, Kotaku podcast actually interviewed the guy who's this guy that we are looking at right here, Mr. Masayuki Uemura, and they asked him a certain question to which he answered, which this entire article is based on. So what was the question that Kotaku asked him? They said, Japanese games swept the globe starting in the late 70s. Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and then the likes of them. Why do you think this made in Japan culture resonates with people all over the world? And then Uemura responded, actually, that's what I wanted to ask you. And then he laughed about it. And then he said, Super Mario Brothers isn't in Japan, but the character is Japanese. The name Mario sounds Italian, but he isn't Italian. They were really able to capture the ambiguity. So that's the aspect that CBR actually took and they ran with it. They forgot to actually also focus on the fact that somebody else, the creator of Mario, had a thing or two to say about it. So what you will not find in that particular article is this interview that was conducted by Iwata on the person that created the Mario character himself, and that person happens to be Shigeru Miyamoto. And this is what he had to say in that interview. In a 2009 edition of Iwata Ask, heralding the release of new Super Mario Bros., which Shigeru Miyamoto says he does not know why Nintendo was denied permission to make a Popeye game, especially because the company was already making Popeye merchandise in the form of playing cards, possibly as far back as the 1960s. Now, you guys will be wondering, why is he talking about Popeye when we are talking about Mario? Well, actually, the guy who created Mario wanted to create a character based on a westernized character that we already know, and that character was Popeye. That was what he wanted to base the game on, not on a Japanese character or a Japanese person. But the character in Mario will still have Japanese values. The things that Japanese people value, character Mario will still have it. In any case, he went on to say, having rigorously analyzed what exactly made people want to play one more time, I sketched out ideas for 5 games. At this point, Nintendo was licensed for Popeye. Again, he's mentioning it. Now, Iwata then asked him saying, yes, the company was releasing Popeye playing cards and Popeye games and watch titles. Yeah. And so Miyamoto responded by saying, that's why at first I asked if I could make a game using Popeye, not a game using an Italian, a Japanese character, an American character. Popeye is what, from Texas or something, if I recall, particularly that character was from Texas, I think. The basic concept of Popeye is that there is the hero and his rival who he manages to turn the tables on with the aids of spinach, which sounds very similar to Mario, who's able to turn the tables on the villain using what? Mushrooms. So mushrooms replaced spinach, Mario replaced Popeye. So Mario is the legacy of Popeye. Well, a little bit of fun fact for you there if you didn't know that. Iwata then continues asking, but when you put it like that, it's the same as Pac-Man, isn't it? And then Miyamoto responded, yes, it's identical to Pac-Man. So I sketched out a few ideas for games using Popeye. At that point, Yokoi-san was San would mean Mr. or dear in Japanese. That's what I got from many of these manga cartoons that I've watched. If I'm wrong, if you're Japanese, please correct me in the comment section below. But in any case, he went on to say Yokoi-san was good enough to bring the ideas to the president's attention, and in the end, one of the ideas received official approval. Yokoi-san thought that the designers would become necessary members of development teams in order to make games in the future, and that's how Donkey Kong came about. So basically, we can see that they weren't basing it on a Japanese character, but on an American character. To top it off, the name Mario was actually named after a real person by the name of Mario Sigale, who died in 2018 at the age of 64. And here's the little story to back that up. Mario Sigale, the Seattle real estate and construction business owner who inspired the name for Nintendo's famous mascot, passed away on October 27th, according to reports from the Seattle Times and Urban Reporter. He was 84 years old. Sigale owned the business park housing Nintendo's America arcade operation in the early 80s when the company was busy converting thousands of discussed Radarscope cabinets to play Donkey Kong. At this time, Nintendo of America's president Minoru Arakawa and other executives were trying to come up with an American name for the game's player avatar, who was still referred to as Jumpman. I remember that. And at that point, a name that appears on early in the Donkey Kong cabinet art. So they named it after this guy. Here's a photo of the guy. And so the whole thing of them trying to push the idea that Mario was not Italian, that he's Japanese, is simply based on what one person said. And I want to believe that what that person was actually saying is the reason why Mario resonated with people across the world is because he embodied Japanese values that you would have always seen amongst the heroes of many manga cartoons, like your Naruto's or your Bleach, and so forth. Values such as honor, bravery, perseverance, that never giving up spirit, something that we saw Mario do in this movie. Courage, respect, discipline. These are all values that in today's Western world, they've attributed it to whiteness and said it's only a characteristic of white people. And so if you're a non-white person, you shouldn't be able to relate to this. That's why woke people can't come to the comprehension that a character like Mario, even though it's white or whatever character or wherever they're from, it doesn't really matter to anybody. People will take to them if they have certain values that they love, right? It's as simple as that. And when you look at these characters like Mario and you look at Naruto, they have similar characteristics that everybody across the world can relate to. Even a little kid from Africa can watch Naruto and appreciate it, can watch Gazab in India and appreciate it, because those values are universal. They are not synonymous to one particular race. But the woke-minded people would not understand it. And to go far enough to show you how ridiculous this particular article was, they were still even insisting that the person, this Mr. Miyamoto, did not even know that the character itself was Japanese and not American. They literally said this, that Mario being Japanese would come as a shock to many people, including Miyamoto himself. Can you imagine the senselessness of that? In any case, you guys, there you have it. The creator himself actually said that Mario is an Italian-American character, not based on a Japanese character. And no disrespect to the man that created the console. No disrespect to him. Because of him that we have the Nintendo Switch today. And it's because of him, rest his soul, that we had a lot of great games today. So I don't want to discredit what he said or this story in any shape or form. However, I want to say that this story basically was put out there before the movie was released, just to discredit this movie a little bit more, to have an attack, because they said something about Chris Pratt in there as well, to attack Chris Pratt or throw shades at him that he doesn't deserve, or he didn't deserve to voice Mario. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, like, share, comment, subscribe, ding that bell for notification, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, peace, and Sayaz out. Bye bye now.